You like the juice, eh?
Yeah, you know.
The juice is good, eh?
Yeah.
Dímelo, Bo Dominican York. What's going on, mi gente? What is going on? ¿Cómo están ustedes hoy? I hope you're doing well. I hope everybody up in the Northeast is surviving the snow and having a blast, whether it's helping you relax because then you're not going to work, or, you know, if the kids are not going to school, hopefully you still have good family time and it's not stressful. We got a little bit of rain down here in North Carolina over the last couple days. Last 2 days, no, but I mean, when you guys were getting all that snow, we were getting rain, and it was cold, but just not freezing. So it just strictly stayed rain and super windy. So that, and hope you guys in the Midwest and out in the West Coast are doing well as well. I do not mean to ignore whatever you guys are going through. Hopefully it's wonderful. Shout out to SB, the scent bubble. Had an amazing conversation with him and another brother on the Discord. So if that's something that you haven't seen yet, check out the scent bubble. He's got a Discord out, a fragrance community Discord that, honestly, I'm interacting more with the fragrance community Discord that he's built than I ever did in the last 4 or 5 years being in different sneaker Discords. So that's been something that I've been enjoying. A lot of the times I'm doing it in the back, just reading and, you know, giving thumbs ups, likes, and emojis. But being able to conversate a little bit and politic and share a little bit about myself, you know, as a teenager in high school, I got to be around or see a lot of different people that are well respected in hip hop. Just because I lived in New York City, right? Just because I lived in New York City. And then even more stories from friends, close friends, people, brothers and sisters from the block that, you know, I hung out on. Shout out to 177 in Wadsworth, FBI, SOP, ya tu sabe. Before that, you know, I was a Carajito in junior high school. I hung out 187th Street mostly. Shout out to my St. Elizabeth's fam on 187th and St. Nick, ya tu sabe. Let's get straight into it. I'm rocking Club de Nuit Precieux as my scent of the day. If you saw my short, you know that I did Aqua Essenziale Blue for my scent of the morning. And I needed something strong that was gonna overtake the couté that was still present and lingering, you know, prior to me showering. I wanted something that was going to overpower and kind of help me forget about the couté, which was still emanating. You know, it didn't fully go away until I showered now. And then now I've picked Club de Nuit Precieux as my scent of the day. This will be technically my second wearing, maybe third, but it'll be my first full wearing. I'm going to try to give this the whole day. I'm trying not to, hopefully I don't get the bug to shower early. You know, I do that a lot where, you know, by 8 o'clock at night, right now it's like 2:30 in the afternoon, East Coast Standard Time. So by 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, kind of when I'm ready for bed, I want to shower up again. I want to change, you know, whether I was taking out garbage, or I went out, did grocery shopping or whatever. Maybe I just want to change, right? Maybe the scent's died down. I don't know. But there could be reasons why I may want to switch the fragrance. And that's why I can end up showering, you know, 2 times a day at least. Even as many as 3 times if it's something that I want to change. I want to change, whether it's the fragrance or clothing. Now, sometimes I'll change clothing without showering, but a lot of times I do end up showering when I'm changing clothes because I want to get all of it off me. You know what I'm saying? Fresh. By my way, let's see how this atomizer does. So it's semi-aggressive. It kind of wanted to go, and it went off curtain, right? But not a lot of juice. Not a lot of juice. Now, I oversprayed the mess. So I'm at home, alone basically with the dogs, and numerous sprays to the crook of my arms, underneath the sweater, on my chest, underneath my t-shirt, under the sweater, and the back of my neck. And I did that before putting on my t-shirt. And then I put my t-shirt on. Then now I put my sweater on. Guys, this is citrusy, fresh, sweeter than the normal Club de Nuit. I feel like there may be a woody backbone in there, and I'm not going into the notes yet, but it is good, man. Is this an accurate interpretation of Aventus Absolu? I'm asking you guys to drop a comment down below. Let me know, if you do have it, you might not be watching this channel if you own Absolu. But hopefully maybe you've got a sample of it if you do. And if not, hopefully you are a person that has a tremendous collection, that has splurged on Aventus Absolu, and can tell me, is Precieux 1 on par, on track? Is it doing the scent profile justice for Aventus Absolu? I'm going to have to get a decant because I'm not dropping $400 for a 1.7 or 2.5 and $600 for a 3.4 or 100 mil. I'm just not right now. I don't feel like it. I think ultimately I would ask my wife, and I would, but I don't need it. I've got more than enough fragrance. This was something that I waited, guys. I mean, I could have bought this a long time ago. I've only had it several months. I could have bought this a long time ago. The prices dipped below $60. They were hovering in that $60 range. I ended up grabbing this for about $35 with a coupon. I think it was down to like $40, and then I had an extra coupon or something that dropped it down to 35, in that 34, 35 range. And retail on this is $70. So it's not really expensive. Now it is a 1.7 or 1.85 to be specific. I've got the website pulled up for Armaf, and I'm pretty sure it said 1.85. Now it's supposed to be an extrait. Let's do another spritz on this side. Yeah. Oh man. This one didn't make me shimmy, right? There's still something a little bit like when you put your nose right up on it. When I put my nose right up on it, a little something off-putting, but that's like a 1% thing. That's kind of like, ugh, right? And listen, I'm always half full. I'm always positive. I'm always talking about the good. I've probably got to start talking a little bit more about the things that I don't like or don't enjoy, so that way you guys kind of get both sides of the story, at least from my end and my perspective and how Bo thinks, right? But yeah, I'm glass half full. I've got a joy so deep in my heart that it just can't be taken away, guys. It cannot be taken away. No matter how depressed I get, my wife sometimes, is concerned that, oh, you don't seem happy today or whatever. And I might be super pensive. I might be in my thoughts. Or if I am angry, or if I am upset, if I am disgruntled with something, I don't want to project it. So I tend to hold it in, and people at work will notice it too. My whole life has been like that, even at school, even in church, even at home. When I'm not bothering you and being in your face, and I'm being pensive and kind of withdrawn and introspective, that means something. And that's not always a bad thing, guys. That's not always a bad thing, because I tend to be kind of stoic that way. I tend to replay conversations in my head. Even as a salesperson, I did that I did sales since my teens in New York City, but in many different capacities, man. Banana Republic, Timberland, freaking Century 21 downtown right off World Trade Center. You name it. I've done all kinds of sales. I've done phone sales where I was selling freaking vending machine locations. I felt like I was working for the mob, you know what I mean? And literally like Diet Coke meetings with the rich. Like, it was crazy. Anyway, let me mute this call. get that deep house going. Really, let's go back to Club de Nuit Precieux, right? That's why you guys are here. But believe it or not, most of my subscribers are coming from my music shorts and not from my fragrance content. So that's why I don't mind talking it up a little bit. But let's go. On Fragrantica, they're saying the main accords we're going to get are a sweet, citrus, woody feel. Then we're going to get a fruity, ambery musk. And then finally, we're going to get a fresh, mossy, fresh, spicy, earthy feel. And that may be a little bit of what I'm picking up when I say it might be a little bit of, and that might be that mossy effect. Because listen, it can't be top tier moss or whatever they're using to create that moss accord. I mean, for $70, it can't be the most extravagant chemical, right? Because it is a chemical in most cases, I would imagine. It's not a natural moss or oak moss. But those are the accords that we're supposed to be getting. Let's go down, and I heard SB say that they kind of switched up for Fragrantica. Top notes, they're saying we're going to get pineapple, lemon, bergamot, caramel, pink pepper, pear, and black pepper. Now, pear may be what I'm picking up too, because I'm not always the biggest fan of pear. Now, in the middle, we're going to get oak moss, whitewood, jasmine, lily of the valley, and anise. Interesting. So at the base, we're going to get ambroxan, white musk, patchouli, cedar, amber, leather, and vanilla. Let's keep going down and see what they talk about. Longevity is very long lasting to moderate. Some people think it's eternal, but it's mostly long lasting. So we're really going to put that to the test today. I'm pretty sure when I tested it on skin, it did last for a long time, at least until I washed it off. Now for sillage, they're saying it's a strong sillage, strong to moderate sillage. Very few people thought it was an enormous sillage, but strong to moderate. And we're not going in. Okay, gender. Predominantly male. I mean, this is definitely a male or masculine scent. Barely unisex. Barely unisex according, and that's what you're looking at right there. Then for price and value, it is a good value to okay. Okay, good value. It's an okay to good value. I think that's when people were paying the $70. At 35, 40, sub $50, this is an amazing deal, guys. An extrait. Only thing that I hate, well, the only thing that I dislike is this little tassel that makes all this noise. It's cute, but it's, I'm smelling it off the cap again there. So the perfume reminds me of Absolu Aventus, Supremacy Collector's Edition. I don't know which one that, Club de Nuit Intense Man. Aventus Absolu again. So is there a difference between Absolu and Absolu 23? I don't know. 23 might be the original, right? Now let's go over to, beautiful bottle, right guys? So Club de Nuit Precieux 1 Extrait de Parfum, $70 for the 1.85. Let's see. It says warmth enabling. Precieux embodies finesse and verve that transcends the conventional. This Chypre amber fragrance is intelligently created with attention to detail. Honor the magic uniquely clubbed Honor the magic of uniquely clubbed, zingy, spicy, and woody tones. Top notes: bergamot, lemon, pink pepper, black pepper, pineapple, pear, and caramel. Very similar, if not identical, to what we read on Fragrantica. Heart notes: lily of the valley, anise, jasmine, whitewood, and oak moss. And then at the base, we're going to get amber, cedarwood, leather. I don't know what they're supposed to be saying here. Leather and something. Patchouli, white musk, vanilla, and ambroxan. I am definitely a fan, guys. I'm a fan, but I enjoy the Aventus DNA a lot. So I like pineapple-y, mossy, you know, fruity, woody, earthy accords. And that's everything that we're getting here. And I dare say, I personally will not buy another inspired take of Aventus Absolu. That's me personally. And that's why the title reads, do we really need another Aventus Absolu inspiration? Do we need another dupe of Aventus Absolu? Heck no, but companies are going to put it out there, and there are some of us in the community that will continue to buy the same DNA dupe because they're looking for the perfect version. Or maybe they're a content creator and want to share that experience with the public. But also there might just be some people that just want to collect different versions because they enjoy that smell, right? Like me, I've got 7, 8, probably closer to 10 different versions, inspirations of Tuscan leather. And 90% of them are not dupes. 90% of them are PDMs and Nishanés and Thomas Cosmalas. I mean, houses that have a reputation and a foothold in the game as not being dupe houses, even though a lot of people can say that they are always doing something inspired by something else, right? I mean, there's just, come on, a fruity leather with a creaminess, Tuscan leather. Of course, man. I mean, you got from Nishané, you got suede saffron. From freaking PDM, we've got gold, what is it, Godolphin. From, yeah, I've got tons of them. And I always forget to mention from Argos, I've got Bacio Immortal. Some people say that that's a Tuscan leather like DNA, right? And I've got others, guys. I've got more than that. It's just that, you know, I always, when I bring it up in videos, I always forget one or two, and then I think, wow, how did I not add this one? This is definitely a Tuscan leather inspired DNA, or something along that line. But yeah, Precieux right now is pumping and is projecting, and I am loving what I am experiencing in this first hour, right? In this first hour, definitely super strong, potent. I've opened the back door so that way the dogs are not choked out, and I'm considerate of their feelings. You know, I'm the first one to make sure that they've got fresh water every morning, to make sure that when I put food down, I'm not putting it in a dirty bowl. I want to clean their bowl because I would like a clean plate to eat off. I don't want to eat off a dirty plate. I would like a fresh glass of water. I don't want water that's been sitting out all night. So even though a lot of people might say, those are dogs, why you even, the freaking dog, they got feelings too, guys. They got feelings too. When you love, you gotta love. And I apologize to anybody that I may have offended or may have hurt in the past with other videos that may have come off super negative. That's not the intention. The intention is to continue to share what I love or what I enjoy. It really started in 2021, me talking about sneakers and fake sneakers as well. Because, you know, before I got, check this one out. Before I ended up getting the real deal, and this is one of the best out there. I mean, this is one of the best Jordan 1 highs that you can get right now. I mean, and this is old. This is from maybe 2020 or something like that. Mocha 1s. And they just dropped the low last year, right? Mocha lows. But these are the Mocha 1 high OGs. Beautiful, right? Freaking beautiful. But before I had the real deal, I had to do it because I didn't hit on the real deal. There was people that hit so many pairs of these, and these were going for well over $400 at one point, you know, depending on the size. Right now you can grab them, I guess, for under 300. I don't know. I don't know where the sneaker market is. I haven't been following StockX and everything as much as I did before. But I know that, you know, you can find these pre-owned under 200, so below retail. I mean, retail might have been 170 on these. Before it went up to 185, it was 170. Before 170, it was less. You know, prices keep going up the same way they do on fragrance. And Mocha One highs, guys. Still a banger shoe. If you don't have it, check it out. And if you don't like the highs, they do have a low that dropped last year. Yeah, but these are gorgeous. But again, I was reviewing the dupes. You know, I had a pretty decent dupe. And then as you go digging in and looking at the flaws of the dupes, you start seeing what they don't get right. The same thing is in fragrance, guys. And maybe it's easier to do it with fragrance because it's a lot more subjective. It's not concrete the way sneakers are. You know, hey, they did that stitching wrong. They did the color palette wrong. They did the midsole wrong. You know, the pattern on the midsole is supposed to go like this and it goes this way. With fragrance, it's a lot more subjective. You know, it's, to me, this one smells more like. This one gives me this vibe. This one, I bet you there's somebody who's going to say this smells better than Aventus Absolu. I got you. I bet you there's going to be somebody that says this smells better than Aventus Absolu. And there's definitely tons of us that are going to agree that this is a better buy because I'm not going to spend $400 on Aventus Absolu. Now, personally, I'm not going there, but I'm definitely not dropping $400 on Absolu. I've seen it for as little as 300, and that sub 300 for the 2.5, not in the 100 mil. In the 75 mil. So that may have been worth it at one point for me, but I didn't pull the trigger. Another one I didn't pull the trigger on was freaking Stronger With You Sandalwood. You know what I mean? When the prices were below retail, and because you got to understand, with my wife, I can grab things that are sold in store at Sephora at a great discount, right? But a lot of times you can find them at discounters for even a better price. So I would go that route. But I hesitated on sandalwood, didn't pull the trigger, then it disappeared. And then it came back. I hesitated, didn't pull the trigger, and it disappeared. And I learned my lesson. Somebody, you know, Cubanos did a video on sandalwood recently, and I said that in a comment, and somebody said, "Did you learn your lesson?" And yes, I did. One that I did not hesitate, and you guys aren't going to like this brand. For the most part, there's a lot of you that probably do, but a lot of you don't. When this guy came out, Leighton Exclusive, right? $400 easy, right? I found it for under 150, for, well, let's say 150. De una vez, loco. De una vez, loco. Did not hesitate. I had already seen the Man Cologne's review, and, you know, I already had Leighton, which I got for roughly the same price. But this guy, I waited and waited and waited until I didn't want to pay more than $40. You know, it's an inspired take. I didn't need it, and I didn't want to pay more than 40. When I found it for 40, and I was able to apply a $5 coupon, I got it for $35, and I was happy. I was like, okay, let's add that joint to the collection. And here it is. So good, guys. This is really good. Again, first, full all-day wearing, so I'll have to report back, but it's worth the money. This is one that's worth the money. There might be times that you don't like certain things. Again, that came off, it might be the pair. You know what I mean? It might be the synthetic oak moss or mossy effect, but I love oak moss. So, and overall, a tremendous fragrance. You know, a tremendous fragrance that's well worth the money, and something that I think you would enjoy in your collection. Again, if you like a woody chypre, a fruity chypre, and I think there's a lot of balancing agents in here that make this very good for year-round wear. Now I need to get a decant of Aventus Absolu and see exactly how that compares, the OG compares to this inspired take. Again, Club de Nuit Precieux 1, to me, worth it. Take your time, find it under 50 bucks. Maybe like me, find it less than 40 bucks, and then pull the trigger. Anyway, que Dios me lo bendiga. I'll talk to you guys soon.